This is Dave with Dave's Racing Channel. We're back at PRC, Pies Race Cars. We're going to talk about a few of his projects. Let's talk about this new Top Alcohol funny car you got in here. And
all right, this is it's a brand new car just built. It's a 125-inch Top Alcohol NHRA funny car. It just got shipped to me from California. The customer has a few issues with it. There's some problems. The things are just not fitting correctly, and then asked me for some of my advice and some changes that I might want to change on it, and that's what we're going to do. I did modify my jig table here, put some plates on it, because we want to actually, once I put the motor back in the car, we want to be able to sit the body on the car and make sure that the ride height is at what it has to be, because that is one of the rules with NHRA. Pretty simple on some of the things. Unfortunately, you know, the dry sump tank unfortunately crashes into the fuel pump area, which is not going to work. You just can't even bolt things up. So we're going to come up here in the front, move the fresh air bottle, move the CO2 bottle, relocate those. Unfortunately, we'll have to take the computer box, move it forward. You know, then we can give him plenty of room, move this dry sump tank forward, gives him room to get the motor in and out of the car. You know what I mean? Which, that's what you want. You want the car to be simple to work on. You know what I mean? If it's a real pain in the butt, that's just not fun to have, you know. And we get back in here a little bit. You know, usually we put another diagonal link in this area here, which we're going to put in. We're probably going to continue some of these straps up to mid-plate pipe. I like to go all the way up to the upper rails with them. It just grabs the mid-plate area a little bit more, helps keep the motor from trying to force itself back in the car. And then we get back up into this area here. Some of the Top Alcohol cars do use a small bracket back here. This is a little bit smaller than normal as far as I'm concerned. I do have one of my brackets here that's what we're going to end up putting on the car. I'm actually going to make new aluminum brackets, and you know, this has only got a 6 7/8 spread from center to center. My bracket's got a 15 3/8. To me, this is not really driving the chassis and pushing on it the way it should. You get a taller bracket back here, man, it's going to grab the whole entire car, and it's going to force that thing down that track a lot better, I feel. You know, but if you put it in comparison and just look, you know, is where this is going to end up being from my bracket to his. You know, their last bolt hole's here, I'm all the way up here. You know, it'll work much better for the car, you know. He'll be a happy camper when it's done, okay? And in the long run, it will be a better deal. Unfortunately, tires hit the sidebars in here. We're going to have to change some stuff, maybe possibly with the seat, and then change some of this. I usually use an X brace in this area. This K member is acceptable and okay, and a lot of guys do that, but I'm just more a believer of the X. And then the seat pan stuff here, it just needs a lot of attention in that area too, because I mean, unfortunately, the guy should have the belts and stuff like that. I'm not real hip on wraparound belts. I like the belts to be bolted in the car. Then I know for sure that nothing stupid could happen at any time. You know, if the things are bolted in the car, I feel much safer with that, you know. So we'll do that. We're going to put a panel back here where we can probably mount the fresh air bottle back here for him. There's a lot of little things. Jack stand tabs are real loose on the car between the jacks. We want to tighten those up a little bit more. And that's pretty much kind of basic on there. Then anything I see or any other little touches that I want to put on the chassis, I'll put them on there, you know, what I feel that it might need. Then he kind of changes. But otherwise, it is a really nice car. You know, I mean, the chassis is nice. Unfortunately, we just got a few issues here with, you know, in a couple of areas. You know, but we'll get them straightened out. I mean, and they'll be, you know, it'll all be good when we're done with it, you know. We do have the body back here for this thing. It is a Top Alcohol body. It's actually all done. Still needs some more, you know, work to it. A few little things buttoned up on it. Cutouts for the headers, because I will be doing zoomy headers for this chassis. You know, building a set for that. And then I'm going to probably change the rear wing, the little spill plate area back there in the back. I'm actually going to change that just a little bit for him. But this is a real nice deal. You know, it's a 5-star body. It's got all kinds of titanium trees in it. All the tin work stuff's done. Stovepipe stuff. The windows are done. You know, the wing stuff's done. Like I said, I'm going to make a little change on the back of the wing. But it's a real nice piece. Once it gets done, it'll be right, you know. You know, I mean, I'm thinking that, you know, it's going to take a little bit, you know, time-wise, a few months. But, I mean, with all the projects I got going on. But we'll get it done. you got to go around and trim up some of the body lips, make sure everything's just nice and radius some corners and stuff like that, just to make sure, that's a lot of the little cleanup stuff that people don't think about before it goes to the body shop, because you don't want to be going, man, NHRA measures this lip here, it can only be 1 inch maximum anywhere. So, you got to go around the car and measure that, make sure, and then block sand everything down to 1 inch to make sure it's good.
Same way with your headers being inspect too, right?
Yes, the headers inspect. They on the top alcohol, I'll have to make sure on them, but I know they do on the big show guys. The lean back on the headers is a rule. They got a minimum on that. They can only lean them back so much, or a maximum. But in these top alcohol cars, I'm not for sure if they do, but I got the new specs coming from NHRA on it, so that'll tell me what's up. Then I can kind of go from that. With the specs there. But if you look in here, it's got, they did nice tin work. Parachute handle stuff over there on that side. Again, I'm not happy with that. Unfortunately, a lot of guys do it that way. It's clean, but I'm not real hip on a cable going through my Bimba cylinder and wrapped around my parachute handles to do, to pull the chutes in case the RF system goes off. RF system is an emergency deal where they can actually activate your parachutes and stuff for you, which it'll kill the motor and, actually because you'll have a fuel shut off on the fuel also, which it will activate the fuel lever and activate the parachute. So it shuts the fuel off to the motor and pulls the chutes for you. Just in case if you hit the wall, got knocked out or something, car's going down the track at full steam, you're going to get in big trouble there if you don't do something, and that's what the RF systems, it'll shut that system down for you, and hopefully you'll be okay, But I changed mine into a little nicer deal. I use a little different style Morse cable that I get for my work, and it's a nicer deal. I put it in my nostalgia cars, and them guys are happy as heck with it. It's just nice and smooth, and, just something, my preference again, but it's just something that I like, and that'll be one of my touches that something I'll change on it, and make it a nicer deal for the guy, So that's kind of that there on this thing, if you're all right. And then,
Awesome.
I got some parts here that,
Yeah, let's dive into that.
Yeah, do want to give some of the suppliers and stuff, a little credit here, because a lot of stuff. I work at Jerry Bickle Race Cars during the day, and if it wasn't for Jerry up there, and with me and his agreements with me doing things, and with the parts that he has at that place, because it is a one-stop chassis shop. You want anything from next to nothing, or a part for your tractor, or whatever, or a complete race car, it will be done and can be done at Jerry Bickles. You call up for any parts. They are a major distributor for Weld wheels. So here's a brand new front Weld wheel. You call up Bickles, you ask for Cotton. Cotton is the wheel guy and tire guy. So you need anything with Goodyear slicks, Hoosier slicks, the front runners, anything, any kind of back wheel or front wheel. Cotton beats anybody's prices out there, for good example, the guy here at the Chevy too, man, he says, hey man, I'm gonna get my wheels from Summit or Jegs. Nothing against them guys, because they're great, okay? Them companies are great companies. But Cotton has a great inventory he keeps there at Bickles, and we beat their price by several $100, at Bickles. So, Bickle can take care of you on any of your needs. Just call up and ask for Cotton. He can take care of you there.
You got a lot in stock too, you said, right?
Yes, we got, there's at least 100 or so slicks over there at all times, and I know that upstairs room up there must be at least 100 back wheels up there for sure, because that thing has got rows and rows of wheels brand new in boxes. It's just like, Jesus Christ, It's just a lot of stuff, Jerry keeps a big inventory of stuff going. You know what? You don't want to sit here and wait until next week to get your stuff.
Right.
Hey, Jerry's going to say, man, you know what? We got it here in stock, dude. We'll send it out today to you, and then boom, there you go, Here's a few components and stuff that is Bickle parts, and then some of my guys that I deal with parts. Now here's like a full enclosure drive shaft tunnel kit, okay? A lot of guys, when you start making a bunch of horsepower, this is something that I totally recommend as a complete enclosure. Even if you got one loop in the car or two loops, that drive shaft breaks, it can come through that stuff, come through your aluminum tunnel or anything and get you, okay? This is a partial kit that I bought through Bickles. Bickle has all these titanium, or not chromoly tunnel pieces made, and then you can cut them to your shape and length or whatever you want to do, and that's what I did here. he can bend up all the loops and he can send this to you as a kit, just like what I have here. I did do a little custom deal. I had a little bit different radius on my bender that had made these things a little bit wider on these loops, so I just went ahead and used my loops. Okay, but it actually has push-pull pins here and here, and then it does bolt in the back. Okay, it's just something what we did there, and then I actually incorporated a shifter mount here on top. That you'll be able to, we'll cut this off a little bit once we at the final deal. But this is ready for your shifter to slip down in, and then once the customer wants to locate his angle of the shifter, then we'll drill it and put a push-pull pin in there. So I mean that's a nice loop. Bickel deals with a lot of other parts, man. I mean, like this is a parachute pack that I made up, but this is stuff that we can make it, either Pie Shop here or Jerry can make it at Jerry Bickles and sell you the same stuff too. I make these custom per car. I really don't sell parts, down to everybody or whatever. If you need something custom made, I can make it for you. But if you're just wanting to buy, hey man, I want to buy a single single parachute mount, Jerry's got them in stock sitting on the shelf for you, man. He can send them out the same day, or you can come pick it up that same day even, But this is something we made for the Chevy too, that I'm building here. Real nice deal. Then we had it powder coated. This is one of Jerry's big major Pro Mod sway bar kits that we use. The anti-roll bar. This is just some of the components to go with it and stuff. And then this is just one of the links that will get cut down to your length when you put your tabs and stuff on your rear end. But this is the best you can get out there right now. I mean, this is a killer piece. Jerry spent a lot of time figuring this thing out and really designing it, and it works really good. So, I mean, it is a very nice piece. If you want the best one out there, I would get on the phone with Jerry and call him up and tell him I need one of your sway bar kits, man, and tell him I want the big one that you put in all your Pro Mod cars, and this is what you're going to get. I mean, we're building a car like that I have here. You'll see a picture of in a minute, and we just didn't want to spare. I mean, sometimes I tell guys, hey man, why spend the $300-400 on one? And then I think this one it might be a little less than $900, but it's close to that price range. But you know what? You spent double the amount or so, but then you got the best. You'll never have to upgrade again. We strive on that at Jerry Bickles Race Cars. I mean, building a lot of the nice stuff like that where, hey, we got the cheaper stuff that works great and you can get by with, or we got the best stuff out there that you never have to improve again, So that's just kind of that part there. We sell a lot of these things, man. These are window bezels. They go on in your Lexan windows. We got them this style in a larger version, and then we got round ones too that are all scalloped out that are really cool looking. So, some guys will go to their car and they'll put their 4-inch hole in their window. Because that is some of the rules at the racetrack that you have to have those so they can get a fire extinguisher in there. The big fuel cars, or like these cars here, they have to have a 6-inch one. But these are really nice. You can get those through Bickel. He keeps those in stock all the time for you. XRP fittings. This is just something I had in the cabinet I pulled out. One of the things, but Jerry is a major supplier of XRP fittings. Any custom lines. If you need a line made that has to have the crimps on the ends for all the big fuel stuff. I mean the big time stuff, and we can actually certify the hoses and stuff. We can do all that there at Bickles. So that's a nice thing for Bickel. I mean, we can do a lot of custom things there for you guys. I mean, any of the race car people out there. Fire systems, this is just a brand new bottle that we bought for the Nova here we're doing. That's a 10-pound system. Jerry keeps those in stock. He's got tons and tons of those, the 5-pound bottles, 10-pound bottles, all the hardware stuff that goes with them, the brackets, the tabs that get welded on the car. He's got that complete in stock. He even sells these things with bottles with a complete fire line kit. So I mean, you got a complete kit with all your fire lines and stuff. That's the normal basic deal. You get into an elaborate system, then you have to buy more fittings and stuff. I mean, which is expected.
But it's nice to get it local when it's a one-stop shop, and you can talk to a live, reputable person who knows how the things actually work.
Yes,
too.
And sometimes even he'll bring the customer, like Cotton or Don or somebody, and it's usually sometimes with Cotton, he'll bring the customer out into the shop and say, hey, Dave or Dan, hey man, come here and check this out. Here's what Pi did on this car here, and this is how he kind of laid out these lines and stuff on here with this fire system, and man, sometimes a visual will give you, it's more than a million words, I mean, to me it is, and it helps me out a lot. So that's a good thing. Like I said, you go to Bickles, you can get anything for your race car. So that's a good place to go to. Now, Bickel and them do have their own laser cutter, okay? And Jerry and them do all their own laser cutting and making their own parts. I deal with my old job. Basically, it's Ryan and Clyde Burnett at SMF, Stewart Metal Fabrication, in St. Peters, Missouri. It's just we have a built-in relationship since I worked there for them guys for 8 years. I use them for all my laser cutting stuff, okay? But Jerry and them got their own full tilt deal too at his shop. But these are some of the components, brackets that I have Ryan make up for me. Sometimes you can give him a halfway drawing, okay, which that's usually what I do, okay, and then Ryan will come in there and clean it up and put all the radiuses and stuff on there. Now this one actually on a all the aero tubing for a top fuel wing on a fuel altered car, and this actually got welded to all the tubes with the X's going through there. We welded actually right through this little slot to every one of the tubes, so it looked like it wasn't almost welded on the car even. So it was actually really trick. But Ryan makes up custom brackets. This is kind of like my bracket that we saw over there on that thing. I use this on the back of the car. And there is some shops that actually will eliminate this middle section here and just use a small section here and a small section here. I think it gives the tubing and the chassis a little more strength to add this in there. To me, it gives a little more strength to the car. I just prefer doing that on my deals. And I want to have Pi's own custom bracket, so mine doesn't look like everybody else's, This is a rear end plate for a front loader Strange rear end, one of the rear ends from Strange. This is something the guys at SMF made. They can make this right up for you, any custom deals. So, I don't have all the brackets in stock, that I know exactly what the drawings are for them. So sometimes I have to either make, go over things here, and then I have them guys make it for me. I just don't have some of that stuff yet in stock where you can just call me up and say, hey, Pi, I need that bracket there for, now this bracket, yeah, I can make it and send it to you. But, for some rear ends, I don't have all that info yet. A couple of them I do. I think, actually 4 of them. I have 4 rear ends, so I darn near have it all buttoned up yet right now. So actually I do. So it's pretty close. But now this is just some other brackets, a laser cut, simple deal here. This is part of the parachute mount stuff that goes on the bottom of a rear end. These are just some of my little body mount tabs. This is just something that we use oval. Sometimes I have them punch holes in here. Just a little universal bracket that I can do things with. These things actually went into a top of a thing that actually was on a fuel altered for the strut rods. It went in and tied into the top of the funny car cage. And it actually was a real nice, and I can send you a picture of that, Dave. So you can show somebody and say, hey, here's what was a finished little product. Because NHRA, I did get approval to be able to attach it where we did through the funny car cage. And Bob Blackwell from NHRA gave us the approval to go ahead and do it. He says, hey, man, that looks pretty trick. That was a nice piece. A lot of times I try to do things for a guy's cut. If you're having me build your funny car, okay, and I'll try to do something kind of custom for you. Or you say, hey man, you want something on there with your company name or something, or whatever you like, or what you call your car or something. And this is what I come up with on a couple deals, okay? I kind of draw it up a little bit and tell Ryan down there at SMF and say, Ryan, this is what I'm looking for, man. This wide, this tall, this is what I need. Now this is what we did for Mark Metters for his funny car. And it's the Good Guys Racing, and this goes on the very front of the fuel tank. So when the body's up or the body's off the car and you walk up to the chassis, man, that sticks right out in your face the first thing you see. To me, it's just a nice little touch. Now, there's a lot of work that goes to this part. When it's done, it doesn't look all like this because it gets bends in the middle and on the ends and stuff welded to it and stuff. It gets kind of complicated, but I do have some pictures that we can put up or something and show them, The same thing with the Capital Glass. This was for Tony Gerardo's funny car. Did the same thing with his company, Capital Glass, and then that goes on the front of the car. I'll do that for anybody. This is something that, I don't get this done for nothing, and usually I make a couple of them just in case I screw one up because of all the work that goes into this part, but it's actually something I do for free for the customer. I do it for free and just give it to them because if you like that extra little touch, that's awesome. Something that I made you happy about, put the little touch on the car and there it is, makes you happy. It's like JB here calls his Chevy 2 JB2 Racing. Okay, I'm still trying to come up with something for him that we can put somewhere on the car that says JB2 Racing. Just something maybe small, but hey, man, it's a little logo of his little thing, what he calls his deal, his little operation with his race car, And it's just something I'm trying to come up with. I'll see it now, but I never said nothing to him about it, but I'd like to, at least do something for him and, So hey, here you go, man, just a little thing or something. Even if it's something like, even if we made something like this and we cut it at an angle and radius the corners, and either just something you could even bolt onto something, on the car, that would look pretty neat, we're going to put carbon door panels in this car that's behind you now. I thought about having that. Maybe I was going to maybe even bead roll it in the door panels, which would look pretty trick. JB2, JB2 Racing. That would be pretty badass, but that is very tough. Okay, it's like but so that's pretty good on this. But I mean, with some of the stuff you kind of see, like I said, Jerry's got a laser cutting shop too. I just deal with my guys because we've been on a good relationship on stuff, and I do things for them guys, they do stuff for me, so it just works out really good for us. There's been times that I've actually went down there during the day, or not during the day, during the week on 7 o'clock when they start, and I told them one day, because I was having a bunch of problems with the funny car brackets I was getting from my supplier, and I told them, I said, stop what you're doing in your shop today, and you're going to work on my parts. I said, stop the company. I don't care what it costs, do what I got to do here now. And they stopped what they were doing, made all my motor plate mounts and stuff for me right then, texted me at 11 o'clock that morning, says your parts are done. And then I asked him, when I went down there to pick him up, I said, what do I owe you? He says, I said, because I know I told you to stop what you're doing here at your company. And Ryan at SMF said, what do you pay for those parts? I said, those ears are 25 bucks a piece. He goes, give me 25 bucks a piece. You couldn't ask for better service than somebody like that. So you know what, man? That's why I just stick with them on doing all my laser cutting, Like I said, I could go to Jerry and have him do stuff, but man, these guys have bent over backwards for me. I got parts that I'm taking down there tomorrow, and I'm gonna tell them, hey, dude, I need these in a couple of days. You got a couple of days to make these things, and a couple of days I'll have my parts. Boom, they'll do them and get them done, and they don't charge me extra for getting them done right away, and so I mean, they take care of me, so I appreciate what Ryan and Clyde at SMF do for me. It means a lot to me and helps me out a bunch, And they can make anything for anybody. I mean, there was a guy down there the other day, he had a 4-link bracket, and he said he wanted 4 of them made. So he was taking something that he made his own template and said, hey, this is what I need. Ryan drawing it up, and he was making them, So they'll do whatever they can for you, My next project thing we got going here is this Chevy 2. Now, we did get a little bit of video. I know it was in the back, unfortunately, because it was sitting back there, because the first set of fiberglass doors we got were extremely bad, okay? Took 9 weeks to get them, unfortunately, which it is what it is. Okay, so we ordered another set from another company, and took 11 weeks to get, and we finally got them the other day, and now I'm trying to fit them on the car. They're actually getting really close. Things are going pretty good, but there's just some issues with them that, I don't want to sit here and badmouth the fiberglass companies, because everybody has trouble with stuff, and we know that it all, is going to need some work, but these things needed a large amount of work, unfortunately. And you're going to probably cost me 30 to 40 hours of extra work than what we should have really done on the car. But you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to get them done. We're going to make these things, and when I'm done with them, you'll never tell that there was any problems with them. They'll be slick as could be. But this is, like I said, this is John Bryan Chevy 2. This is basically a Pro Mod chassis in a street car. I said we talked about it a little bit before, but it does have some pretty wild stuff in it. This is something, where you can get a little bit of video of, but I mean, it's going to have big tires on it, all the good parts. I mean, all these brackets and tabs that you see on here, they all did come from Jerry Bickle race cars. So, I mean, it was that there. Actually, the main chassis of this thing was built at Jerry Bickle's. And I was actually able to make a lot of, calls on it and stuff like that under my supervision with Mike and Chris. Basically, Jerry said, go down there, tell them guys what you want. So then I already had the body mocked up at numbers. We mocked the body back up where I wanted it, told them what I wanted here and there. They did that part. Then we went to the next stage with the main hoop and the dash pipe, and then getting the A-pillar bars and the eyebrow bar. And, we changed a lot of pipe sizes and different things, but they did it exactly the way I wanted it. So I wanted to really build it here, but at the time I was doing another funny car deal that I was pressed on time with, and we had an opening at Jerry's where we could get it in, so that's what we did. But it just is what it is. But I mean, like I said, any components that people see in here, just look at a bare chassis, then you look at everything else, there's a lot of stuff going on, the car does have 3 fuel tanks and, dual batteries, all the stuff, the removable front end, doors are removable. with all Jerry's components and stuff. So I mean, it's going to be a pretty trick deal. As soon as we get done with the doors, getting everything straightened out with those, and then it's ready to go to the paint shop. Actually, I think we're going to put some mounts in his trailer for him for the doors, and so he can hang the doors on the wall in the trailer, and then it's ready to go to Jeff Hoskins to get painted. So we're excited about that, and then when we get it back, maybe we'll do another little video shot on it, and see a nice final assembly, so then you can kind of see a complete project here, and let everybody know, okay, hey, here's what Pi can come, what he can do in his shop, I've got another guy right now talking that we're going to probably build him a new chassis for Camaro and stuff, and mount a body and stuff on it, and do tin work and stuff. So that should be a pretty fun deal if we get that job. But I mean, it seems like sounds pretty good on it, This is my other little project I got is the Cougar. It was here. I had to finish up Rick's car and another little Chevy too. And then, like I said, unfortunately, we got the doors in for the Chevy 2, which is not unfortunately, but, it was a good thing that they come in so I can get the Chevy 2 done. So the Cougar's on its stands, but as soon as we're done with the Chevy 2, then I'm going to be working on the Cougar and the funny car at the same time and getting things done on both of them, So it'll be out of here before the end of March for sure. It'll be done and out of here, but I mean, it's just, I can only do so much with what time I have, But hopefully we'll have some pretty cool projects, where, like I said, we get some more deals. We got a lot of big things coming up. If all them deals all happen, hopefully we'll have a couple big show funny cars going on. Possibly a couple bodies to mount for some big show funny cars later this year. And that stuff happens. I'm pretty excited about it, so I'm ready.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that.
Yes, I mean, so we'll have some good video stuff for that for you, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, I mean, like I said, I appreciate you coming by again, man, and talking to me, and hopefully we can do many more of these videos, And
yeah.
Like I said, I mean, hopefully the Chevy 2 is going to be a really neat deal. I mean, it's a killer street car. A lot of people give them trouble because of the chassis and what extent we went with it. But you know what? What's everybody do when they go racing? You run 12s. The next thing you do is you want to run 11s. Then you want to go to 10s. Then you want to go to 9s. And you always want to go faster. And JB's got it, with what motor program he's got. Hopefully we'll be in the mid to high 7s with what he's got right now. And that motor he can drive around on the street and have fun with, Then if he wants to put the big motor in there, which he's already been talking, but at least the car, we have to make no changes. Maybe a few little tune-ups on the suspension, but the car itself is capable of taking anything he wants. So it'll be ready, man. It'll be excited.
All right. Hey, thanks for having us out. And hey, you guys need good fabrication chassis work. You got a nostalgia funny car, top alcohol. Pi's the man. Thanks.